You are now listening to Mike's Opinion, Logic Unleashed.
The year is 2020. There's a worldwide pandemic. Is the planet overreacting? Has the United States overreacted? Have you overreacted? I don't know. Just listen. This is Mike's Opinion, and I'm Mike. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. And just when you thought you've seen it all, you haven't. Saw a person with a 5-liter bottle on their head with the top open. Yeah, that's going to protect you from the germs. My wife said she saw somebody with one of those 5-gallon water bottles with the bottom cut out. They had it on their head with a duct tape around the bottom. And of course, the top was popped so they could breathe. But they was ready. Is that an overreaction? Perhaps. Just maybe. Just a bit. I saw somebody with a full towel mask. They had put some holes in the ends, some big old thick rubber bands that strapped around their ears, and it was a whole towel. And I'm thinking to myself, can you breathe? Can you breathe? Might be an overreaction. But listen, we can't fault anybody, right? Because it's life or death. Well, not for most of us, really. I mean, most of us will get sick, fever, cough, body aches, maybe some shortness of breath, maybe. And you'll recover. But who even wants that, right? Nobody wants to get sick and feel miserable. Unless you're a bit of a masochist and you enjoy suffering in some form. And trust me when I tell you, there are a lot of them out there that enjoy the pain and suffering. So, I'm not here to judge. Not here to judge. You do you. Okay? I am a spanker, not a spankee. So, yeah. Anyway, I hope you're doing okay out there. Pandemic 2020 is still raging on. Today is the 8th day of April, 2020. And just to give you a quick update, worldwide, as of just about an hour ago, there are 1,047,620 currently infected patients. There are 384,292 closed cases currently in the United States of America. There are 400,540 cases. Couple hundred new cases today. And coronavirus, SARS-2, causing COVID-19 is still popping. It is still happening. And I hope you and your family are safe. Today's episode, I'm talking about overreacting. The pandemic, I think, has made us all overreact in some form, because who gonna act like they didn't go get that toilet paper? Did you go get it? I know I did. I don't know why. Now, listen, I did not go stack up. I didn't go to one of the, the big box wholesale supply stores and get like 8 34 packs and stock. And I'm not sitting on a whole bunch of toilet paper. Okay. When I went shopping, I got what we normally needed. We usually get like the 24 pack or whatever. And I'm not bragging or nothing, because there's people with many more, but I have 3 full bathrooms in my house. Okay. And I also have a son who's in single digits. And if you ever seen a kid try to wipe their booty, they use a lot of toilet paper. I'm just going to put it like that. I also have 3 pets, 2 cats and a dog. And sometimes there's accidents and I need to flush it. So I'd rather not use a paper towel. So I use toilet paper for that. So, but look, don't front. You know you ain't got that toilet paper. Did you overreact? Did you get too much toilet paper? Are you still sitting on toilet paper from when this pandemic first popped off? When it first began? I know some of you listening are. And it's okay. Because we want to protect ourselves. I don't know that toilet paper is necessary to protect ourselves, but you want to protect yourself. You want to make sure that you don't have to resort to what they do in other countries. For instance, the majority of my listeners thus far or so far are in the United States. Now, and I shout out to the world because UK, Ireland, Switzerland, people are listening all over the world, and I just launched this and it's fantastic. Thank you. Spread the word. Oh, yo, I'm on that. Follow, subscribe, share, like, comment. Please do all of that. Help the show grow. I would greatly appreciate that. But in other countries, for instance, let's say India, my understanding is they wipe with their left hand. They don't use toilet paper. And then they wash their hands. That's why you don't really shake or touch anybody's left hand. Now, if you are in India, if you are from India, if that is incorrect, feel free to contact me at mikesopinionshow@gmail.com. Just launched a Twitter and a Instagram. I'll put it on the show notes. Working on the Facebook as well. And my wife is handling all the social media. My wife is considerably younger than I am, and she's up on all of that. I am not. So, yeah, wholeheartedly admit it. Embrace it, in fact. Didn't want to be on social media, but wifey was like, look, this is the world today. You want your show to, grow and blossom. People need to know it's out there. How they going to know it's out there if they don't know? So she is my social media manager, social media executive, or whatever the title is. So in America, we need our toilet paper. Now, there has been an increase, a substantial increase in bidet sales. The bidets where you can just mount on. I haven't gone there yet. I don't know that I want one of those. I'm here to tell you I've never used a bidet. I admit it. I don't know if I want something squirting in my booty. Some people say it's life-changing. Once you use one of those, you'll never go back. But to me, that water pressure got to be right to get full thoroughness. In our bathrooms, we have dry toilet paper and we have flushable wet wipes. The job is done when I'm done, when my wife's done. Son is working on it, but he's a boy, and like I said, he's in single digits in age. So if you have a boy, you know that, and even if you were a young boy, that's not like a priority. So I'm teaching him, but he does really well, actually. He does really well for his age. He gets the job done. And so that toilet paper, it was real. Now, when this first started a few weeks ago, I went to the grocery store. There was no bleach, no paper towels, no toilet paper, no rubbing alcohol. There were a myriad of products. There was no bread. I mean, literally, the shelves were completely empty. Completely. And I get it, but it was really overreacting. We disrupted the supply chain. They could not stock the shelves fast enough. And you know that toilet paper 24 pack I told you that I got? Well, it just so happens I'm the kind of guy. I think LL made a song. I'm the type of guy. Anyway, it had not been stocked. The shelves were still empty. But I'm a nighttime guy. And this is before they cut the hours. They were still open like midnight, 1 o'clock, whatever. It wasn't a 24-hour. I think it was a grocery store I went in. They closed at 1. Anyway. So I'm a night owl anyway. So this was on a wrapped pallet. Okay. I keep a pocket knife with me and a gun. I exercise my constitutional right, but that's another podcast, another episode. But I stay armed, knife and gun. I don't leave the house without it, and that's just America. I can fight, but I prefer not to. So if I feel threatened, I'm going to protect myself. But I took out my pocket knife. You know, they were shrink wrapped in plastic. And I saw it in there. I cut that plastic. I did look to the left, look to the right first. But I'm not breaking no laws. I'm just helping you unpack your groceries, making it easier for your stocker. And anyway, I cut that plastic and quickly removed that 24 pack. And it was funny because there were still some people in the store. And I had the 24 pack in my cart, and people were looking at me like, yo, where did you get that? Yo, you need to show me. But nobody asked me, but they was looking like, yo, he got that. Yo, he got that toilet paper. You see that? Where you get it from? You better go find it. So they probably thought either I got the last one, or some of the smart people maybe went and got, checked the pallet, because there was other packs on there. And of course, my wife, when I came home and told her how I got it, she was like, only you. I was like, nah, not only me. She's like, most people would leave it until they stock it. And I was like, yeah, well, this is survival. Okay. We have to wipe. We need toilet paper in the pandemic. Right. So I didn't overreact. I just got some toilet paper. However, there are others that overreacted and have probably a 6-month supply sitting in their house. And if you're one of them, like I said, you got it, because you felt that you needed it. There's so many instances and examples and stories of people overreacting, but I want to zoom out before we look at the tree. I want to look at the forest. Okay. And I think it's important for us to do like a bird's eye view, right? Don't you think that's important to do that first? So I think we should start with just a summary definition of overreacting. And overreacting can be described as when the emotional intensity and severity of your behavior does not match the situation at hand. Okay? So that is the definition of overreacting. Okay? And in this case, it's more than just emotional. There are actions, that support that word, overreacting, acting. So there are actions involved. So globally, let's talk about the whole world first. I know when I first heard about this virus in Wuhan, China, I didn't think nothing of it. And I would dare say most of us here in the United States thought nothing of it. Oh, it's another virus over there. It ain't bothering us. But then started creeping closer. And closer. And then it got our attention. It was in Italy. It was in the UK and Europe. And we were like, uh-oh. This thing might be making it over here. Ta-da! All of a sudden it's here. Sickening people. Killing people. What's happening? This thing bubbled. Now it's a worldwide pandemic. Now we lead the planet in the amount of cases. I'm not sure if we've exceeded the amount of deaths yet. And frankly, I hope we don't. That's just real. I just hope we don't. I hope we find a cure or vaccine. But as of today, we've got major corporations of all kinds manufacturing masks, manufacturing ventilators, and other medical supplies that are sorely needed, that are desperately needed, right? So, that's what's going on. But if you had to say yes or no, globally, have we overreacted? Well, what do you say? I say no. Had we overreacted, it wouldn't have hopped the pond. But how can you stop that, right? We didn't limit people's travel soon enough. We didn't isolate it soon enough. So now everybody around the world has it or has the potential to get it. And what makes this one particularly frightening for all of us is that, one, you could be asymptomatic, don't know you have it, and spread it, right? And the word came out today. Well, I'm going to say we knew this already, because black people usually catch the worst of whatever it is. That the United States president's press conference today, and he pulled his doctor in on this, was that black people, African Americans, us, have contracted coronavirus, COVID-19, disproportionately than everyone else. Surprise! Not. That is not a surprise. The reason why is because black people, African American people, have a lot more predispositions, a lot of health conditions, diabetes, hypertension, high blood pressure, and other horrible ailments that are the underlier in the fatalities when you contract this virus. So, I could say 1,000 things to that, but I'm just going to leave that fact where it stands. Okay? It's a horrible situation for all of us. I don't want to make this a race thing. I just thought I'd include that little tidbit of information. So, globally, we did not overreact. Okay? Italy, who's got hit hard, all the other places that have gotten hit hard, including the United States, I don't think we've overreacted as a country. In fact, I think we underreacted. Now, when you get down to the different states, these governors, some of them are at odds with the federal establishment. And as usual, there's politics, there's partisan politics, there's bickering and debate. Because as of today, has anybody got a check? Anybody got a stimulus check? I don't know. Did you get yours? Because I have not gotten mine. I have not received a dime. And the funds are depleted. So can I get my check? Anyway, feel free to support the show. Venmo, Cash App, PayPal. Anyway, if you have the means, it's the worst time to ask for cash, right? But there's some rich people out there sitting on this dough. And if you can, Venmo me $1 million. Can I get $5? Anyway, I digress, as I normally do. But the overreacting is real. Some states have overreacted. Some cities and municipalities have overreacted. In fact, where I'm at here in Texas, in the suburb of Dallas, in one of the smaller municipalities, okay, the county did not impose a shelter in place. They did not close businesses. In fact, the county judge who made the ruling said, and I quote, all businesses are essential. So they didn't say this businesses need to stay open, these businesses need to be closed. No, they didn't say that. They say all business was essential. They didn't shut down shit. They didn't shut down nothing. Okay, now there's several small cities within this county. One of the city mayors said, I don't think so. We're shutting it all down. Guess who's suing who? Really, does it matter? But yes, there's suits out there. Cities suing counties, counties suing cities over what should be closed or not. Now, what do you think about that? Should we have shut down all businesses in an effort to contain this virus? Or should we have let people make their own decisions? And some people say the sheeple, which are a compartment of the people, need leadership. They need to be led. It's a conundrum, right? On one hand, you're killing businesses and that engine, because businesses is, it's that ripple effect. They pay people, those people that they pay spend money at other businesses, and it's all connected, right? So if you shut down all these businesses, there's no income coming in. What happens? On the other side of that equation is the virus spreads. The weaker among us will succumb to it and probably perish and die. So, do you thin out the herd, the weaker of the herd, and let the virus spread throughout the community and support the businesses? Or do you say money really isn't the most important thing and we're going to shut everything down so that everybody can live? It's a conundrum. It's a hard decision to make, But which decision would you make if you were in charge? Would you shut everything down, or would you leave everything open? Would you risk the community population and the spread of the disease in an effort to keep the economic engine roaring? Well, as you well know, in large part, a lot of businesses have shut down in the United States. My business has been affected. If you've listened to any other episode, you know I am a small business owner. So I'm hurting right now. I'm not going to go front. Yes, I am. I need a check. And I don't have one. Hoping to make it. And that's just real talk, as they say. So, I'm hoping this thing comes to an end soon and we can get back to life. But I think our lives are forever changed. Because not just this virus, everybody's going to know something we knew prior to this virus. Wash your hands. And I believe that is why my wife and my son and I haven't gotten sick, because we practice that. And I love my son. You know how it's hard to teach kids stuff? My son, like I said, he's under 10 years old. And he immediately, it's instilled in him. We instilled in him. It is a kudo for my wife and I. The minute he comes in the house, he goes and washes his hands. And I didn't learn that till I was like 35. I can't say I didn't learn it. I didn't practice that. Okay? Till later in life. But it's a habit for him. And I love that, But we wash our hands. Now, of course, now we've gone to the extent of wiping down the mail, wiping down the steering wheel, wiping down all groceries, that come in the house. We are wiping down Fanatic. And it just so happens I'm blessed, fortunate, lucky, whatever you want to call it. I had a big, giant storage bag full of wipes, of antibacterial wipes, just sitting in my house that I had got from some batch auction or somewhere. I've acquired this. Anyway, I do import and export, and I go to, I get stuff from liquidators, and I go to auctions and a bunch of different stuff. But I had this here. Now, granted, they were technically expired, but my wife, who's half Asian, she was like, "There ain't nothing wrong with these wipes. We're gonna use these wipes." She's like, "Alcohol don't expire. They're sealed. They're in a sealed. They were all individual packages." And so we had those. We've been using those, but those are nearly exhausted. So now I feel weird because I have to replenish. I don't know if they're available yet, but they're really good keeping in the car. We go walking almost every day. We get exercise. We put them in the backpack. They come in real handy instead of having to spray something with Lysol, which smells. This didn't have a real smell to it. Anyway, I digress. Or did I? So, the cities, municipalities, the decisions that have to be made. But right now we're basically, shut down. Everybody's waiting for a check. So, I did this episode today because I've seen some very interesting things. People overreacting, and I mentioned some of them already. One of them that I hadn't mentioned yet was there's these apps. I don't know if you use one or not, but it's like Neighbors this or Neighbors that. And what they do is link subdivisions or, small communities. And the idea is so you can share information, you can share goods and services. And the concept is to make the community closer. Well, let's just say I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly of these apps. I've seen people get into heated arguments about political things or race or economics or a variety of things. I saw 3 black teenagers walking down the street. Lock your doors. Stuff like that. Somebody broke into my car. Be on the lookout. Somebody stole a bike out of my garage. Be on the lookout. Or I have this free weight set. I don't use it anymore. Anybody want it? You can have it for free. Just come pick it up. It really has been resourceful, and it is really good. But as you know, with human beings, like I said, we have good, we have bad, and we have ugly. And we have what I feel may be overreacting. So I get alerts for my particular neighborhood. And my wife, my son, and I, we went on our 3-4 mile little walk. We went through the park and we're bird watching and looking at turtles and rabbits and all this stuff, right? So I get this alert on my phone when I come home. So this lady who lives in the neighborhood and her house faces the park. She's losing it. I mean, there's capital letters, there's exclamation marks, and she's saying, "Why are you out in the park? Why?" And she went into detail. Why are you biking? Why are you running? Why are you walking? Why are you scootering? Why are you rollerblading? Why are you walking your dog? Why? And she went through each one. Why are you doing this? She could not grasp the concept of being outdoors during this pandemic. Now, it is my opinion, I'm Mike, and this is Mike's opinion, that may have been overreacting a bit. Okay? To my knowledge, this is not airborne to the point where wide open spaces. This isn't that movie by M. Night Shyamalan. Oh, it'll come to me in a minute. But the idea, I think it was Mark Wahlberg in the movie, where the air was killing you, like plants was releasing stuff and was killing you, you know. This ain't that. This is not that, to my knowledge. I haven't contracted anything, and I've been outdoors almost every day. Okay. And she didn't want anybody to be outside. Now, in my neighborhood, people are practicing social distancing. We're keeping the 6, 8, 10 feet apart. The pathways are far enough. If somebody's coming in the opposite direction, or somebody's coming behind me, if somebody's running and we're walking, you know, they'll say walking, running, you know, on your left, or, you know, we've been keeping a social distance. Nobody's in tight clusters unless it's the actual family. Like my son, my wife, and I, we will walk close together because we live together. So, and so far, we are not infected. And if we are asymptomatic. And I understand kids have not had any problem with this. You know, there's been certain instances, but generally speaking, children haven't had a problem with this virus, which is fantastic. It's fantastic. Really. My understanding is that not even just elderly. I just read that a 91-year-old just recovered. Unfortunately, Boris Johnson, is it? UK Prime Minister. Anyway, he is in ICU right now, and I hope he pulls through. His second day he's in ICU. So what's going to happen to Brexit? Anyway, excuse me. This lady went on a very long, I'd call it a tirade, and she couldn't understand. Now, with this app, replies in the form of comments flow freely. And the major gist was, lady, you're an idiot. And I thought it was a little harsh. Now, I don't think I saw the actual word idiot, but that was the gist. Because people was like, we're social distancing. We're outside. We need to exercise. We need to get our air. I live in a very active community. People are out and about all the time. And, you know, like I said, doing the varying degree of activities, you know. My son and I, we scooter, we bike ride, and we walk. My wife just did a marathon about a year or two ago, and you know, and we don't have to. And once again, I'm not bragging, but we have a gym in our house. We have several cardio. We have an elliptical, treadmill, and a exercise bike. You know, for cardio, I have a couple of jump ropes. You know, I mean, we can get the cardio inside if it's inclement weather outside. So, and I'm sad to say I don't use as much as I should. I really should. But anyway, I digress. So the comments, I stopped reading after like the 10th one. And I think at that time there were probably 30 or 40. And this was probably at least a week ago now, maybe a little longer. And I'm pretty sure there's a long comment string, and hopefully somebody in the administrative area of that app shut it down, because she got beat down. The lady got beat down because people we need air. You know, we need not to be cooped up. My dog needs to go out. I need to stretch my legs. And we're social distancing. The air is not harmful. But this lady couldn't comprehend. Now, while we've been walking, and my wife and son and I, actually it was my son and I, no, my wife and I once, no, my wife and son once, and then all three of us, we've encountered the same dude, what we think is the same guy. He seems like he's elderly, not really elderly, maybe early 70s. Is that elderly? Maybe. But he's active, and he's been running. And when he sees anybody coming even remotely close to him, he yells. Now, he has a mask on, by the way. I have the virus. Stay away. Now, I've personally witnessed this. Is it overreacting? I think I think that's overreacting. You don't have to yell to the top of your lungs that you have the virus and to stay away. Because frankly, I think you're lying. I think you're saying that as a scare tactic. But this overreacting just as a subject, really hard to deem it that, right? Because people are frightened. People are always frightened of the unknown. And there's a lot we don't know about this disease. Like, if we went into conspiracy theory, maybe it is airborne, right? Maybe they're scared to tell everybody and we're all going to die slowly. Horrible thought. Doubt that is true. Hope it's not true. You know? Could be aliens. This is the way they're going to kill us off and keep the planet. I don't know. Could be government conspiracy. It's no secret that a lot of these world governments think the world is overpopulated. And I might be inclined to agree with them. Now, I have no shortage of food and water. I live in a country that is abundant with food, clean water, and many other resources, life-sustaining resources. But when this pandemic first started, them doomsday preppers was laughing at all of us because they got stockpiled years. You know, you talking about us going to get some toilet paper. They've got years worth of toilet paper, years worth of canned food, generators, water purifiers that you can pee and it'll lick, you can make it drinkable, and air purifiers and weapons and all kind of doodads and gadgets. They were laughing. It was like, yeah, who's laughing now? I'm ready in my bunker. And let me be optimistic. When I gain the resources, I'm getting my Noah's Ark. I love my family just like everybody loved theirs. And I'd rather have it and not need it instead of need it and not have it. And I want some variation. And my wife says at the very least, we need to get a bug out bag. And so if we need to bug out with some basic essentials just in case, right? And I think everybody should have that. Now, of course, do not sleep. The uber rich, the super rich, I'm talking about them 100 millionaires, probably less, but definitely the 100 millionaires and the billionaires. To my knowledge, there's no individual trillionaires yet, only $1 trillion companies, or corporations. But best believe they've got those bunkers, okay, fully stocked. You can Google it. There's some out there for sale, I believe. But they got the private islands. They've got the aircraft. They're going to survive natural or man-made disaster. And I think we can categorize this virus as a man-made disaster. Maybe it's natural, maybe it's nature. I haven't done a whole lot of research on the actual origin at this point. Who really knows? It's speculation at best and hypothesis possibly. But I know they're still hunting for the origin of this virus, where they can, say with certainty that this is where that virus came from. But my understanding is SARS-2, it's a variation of SARS that was already out here. I could be wrong, but there are people on this planet that are well prepared for whatever comes humanity's way. Now, a lot of people on the conspiracy tip was like, what a coincidence. Bill Gates stepped down from the board of Microsoft just at the time this broke. But he's been doing interviews all over the place. Now, I don't know if he's been doing those remotely from his bunker, perhaps. But wouldn't you want to protect your family if you had the means? If I said you can buy an old nuclear bunker, fully renovated, restored, refurbished, and stocked with 5 to 10 years of air, water, food, weaponry, communications, and all the things you need to make the transition almost seamless. And no matter what's happening on the surface or in the general population, you're going to survive, and you and your family and whoever you choose to come in that bunker. If you could buy one, wouldn't you? I know I would. I know I would. And this is where the disparity in economic status sucks. Because there's not that many people that can really afford that, I would imagine. Not in a world of 6 to 8 billion people, right? A handful, but 100,000, let's even call it 1 million. Suppose 1 million people on planet Earth have that resource. And there may be things, I'm open-minded. I think there's a possibility there are the uber rich that are already traveling off planet or under the sea. I know there's a restaurant and hotel underwater, and if you think that sounds bonkers, I want you to think about one thing. There's many things I can mention, but I'll just mention this. The stealth bomber, the one that evades radar, it looks like a wing, was first manufactured in 1955. Okay? Looks futuristic today. So if that was manufactured in 1955 in secret, our taxpayer dollars paid for it, but we can't see it, touch it, know it exists. Sad. Another episode. Anyway, but if that was secret then, that advanced aircraft, that advanced weaponry, what do you think we have in 2020 that's secret that we don't know about? Imagine that. I think the sky's the limit. So there are people out there that are much more well prepared. So if you have stockpiled a half a year's worth of toilet paper, don't feel that bad. Because I guarantee you, there are others out there that haven't. Like just regular shopping. If you're a billionaire, you don't want to go to the store all the time. If you do, and let's be real, they probably don't even do their own shopping, but they probably buy at minimum a month's supply. Okay? How long does a 24-pack toilet paper last in your house? And I'm talking about the good, the fat rolls, the big rolls, not those little 99-cent rolls that's, I'm talking about those new rolls, those new fancy, thick, fluffy, tightly wound. We've made technological advances in the toilet paper game. But, so they definitely get the stockpile. Another reason they do it is because they got 8 houses, right? So if you care, you're buying pallets of toilet paper anyway. But enough about toilet paper. Overreacting happens, pandemic or not. And we haven't lost control yet. Excuse me. We have not lost control of society. The National Guard, while activated, is not deployed in our streets. Looting and other atrocities are not happening. What is happening is a lot of worry, a lot of concern, and frankly, a lot of good deeds. I've read about a lot of good. A lot of people are doing good. Have you done anything good for anybody during this pandemic? You checked on anybody? You given anybody anything? You done anything good? I'm trying to do some good. I don't know if my podcast will help you and distract you and help you not worry less, but it is definitely my hope that it does. just a distraction. Even if we're talking about the subject matter, it may be, I don't know, soothing to you or make you think in a positive manner. That's what I hope. I hope you're okay. But I don't think we're overreacting. That's my take. I don't think I've seen anybody really overreact. I think fear makes us, fear triggers certain actions in us. Just like the lady I told you about who lived across the street from the park. She just feared for her life and maybe others. So it's okay. Now wearing a 3-liter bottle on your head, that might be overreacting a bit, but I get it. You want to protect yourself. So ask yourself, have I overreacted? Do I know anybody that's overreacted? I'd really like to get an email from you if you have a really good overreacting story. If I get enough of them, I'll do an overreacting episode part 2, and I'll share your stories in the podcast because I'm pretty sure that there are many like funny ones out there of people that have like overreacted crazy. I know they're out there. But I've seen several articles. There's one on Vox.com, why we're not overreacting to the coronavirus, and they give a chart. I read another one on statnews.com. And it was like, we need to prepare, not overreact. And, the toilet paper run, like I said, could be conceived as overreaction, but I don't think it was. So that is what I wanted to share with you today. And again, I really, really hope that you're doing okay. I hope this passes. And don't overreact. I'm Mike, and this is Mike's Opinion.
Thank you so much for listening to Mike's Opinion. Logic Unleashed.